Welcome back to All the Gear Some Idea.
Welcome.
You join us today on this next episode on working on the quad bike, and today we're going to be stripping down the carb and seeing what nasties lie within.
Yeah, even if it needed it. I don't know, do we?
Yeah, you know, we might get surprised. We might take the bowl off and take the jets out, and they might not need cleaning. But I mean, it's highly unlikely, but you never know.
Pretty old, isn't it?
Yeah, it has been sat for about 3 years, so we're not expecting anything nice inside.
No money inside it anyway. Be no money inside it.
Well, no, you never know.
What, a pound coin?
Might have stashed something in there.
Yeah, you never know. Might be right down. It didn't run because it had £10 stuffed in there or something.
Yeah.
Wish us luck.
Yeah. Roll over to the bench, I guess.
Yeah, man, let's go.
Ladies. Right, so here we have the little LT80 carburetor. As you can see, straight through there. That's where your air gets sucked in from the air filter. Goes through here into the inlet on this side, and that's where the oil gets injected from the oil pipe there. And in the bottom of the Venturi, you can see there's little holes, which is where the fuel will be taken up from the main jet. You'll see there's a hole. You see my fingers just going down the top of the carb now. That needle valve that we showed you earlier will come in through a little hole just inside there, and that's what will let the fuel come in when you operate the throttle. So what we're going to do now is just strip this down a bit. The main thing is to take the bowl off, clean up inside the bowl, because what will happen where this bike's been sat for quite a while, you might find there'll be a load of sludge in the bottom of the carb, and we don't want that to get sucked up and block the jets. So we'll have a look at the jets while we're in there as well, make sure they're all clean, give them a bit of a spraying up with some carb cleaner or something equivalent. So first thing we're going to do, just clean the body of the carburetor up. Just don't want any loose dirt or grit getting into the carb if we can help it. Obviously, I know we're not exactly in surgical conditions, as much as the table does look like a bit of an operating theatre at the moment, as George just said. Wipe down any excess dirt. As I say, not going to go too mad with it at the moment, because we just want to get it to a point where we can turn it over with some fresh fuel in it, fresh two-stroke, and hopefully she'll run. But obviously before we do that, I think we might do a compression test on the engine. So just giving the carb, as I say, a quick clean up. Right, that'll do for now. So next part, we'll lovely. That's all the oil and the fuel that was in the bottom of the carb, just making its way out of the main fuel feed line. So we'll just let that drip out. As you can see, it's a lovely colour. Now bearing in mind that should just be fuel coming out of the bowl, because the oil gets injected straight into the carburetor. There shouldn't be any two-stroke in there, but any residual might have found its way down into the bowl. So it's precisely why I want to take the bowl off, clean that up inside and have a look. But if there's liquid flowing out, it's a good sign, because it means it's not all gunged up, hopefully. So we'll start undoing the screws. Sweating absolute what names off here. It's a really warm day down on the south coast again. Don't think you have to be a qualified mechanic to do this. I mean, me and George are qualified mechanics, but you could quite happily tackle this sort of thing on your driveway with some basic mechanical knowledge. I'm sure there's YouTube videos out there already of how to strip down an LT8 or even an LT50 carb. So don't be frightened to have a go. We can inspire people to get some tools and get cracking on with some basic stuff. But obviously, if you're not sure, don't do it. You know, the last thing we want is for you to start pulling apart your vehicles or your pieces of fun toys and wrecking them in the process. So if you fancy having a go and you've got relatively basic mechanical knowledge, give it a go.
Drop us an email if you need some help.
Yeah, definitely. Leave us a comment in the video if you need some advice. We're more than happy to help you out if we can. Right, so there's the float bowl off. And as you can see, there is a lot of mess and sludge in there that you wouldn't want the jets or the engine picking up. So it's precisely why we're taking this apart. We're going to give that a good clean out. And likewise, you can see the float bowl with the float inside. So the idea of this is your little float here. Obviously, it'll be the other way around when it's on the engine. The float bowl will fill up with fuel, and underneath that float bowl, just inside there, there's a little needle valve. Not sure if you can see it on the camera. Just in there, that needle valve will then shut once this float reaches the top, because the carburetor will be full. And then obviously, when you start using fuel, the float will drop, a bit like a toilet system. As I say, a bit like a toilet system, the float will drop and the fuel will start flowing back into the carb, and then again, once it goes to the top, it will stop flowing through. So we're going to crack on and give that a clean up. Just pulling the pin out that holds the float in there. Should now be able to pull the float out. And that's that needle valve I was telling you about. You can see there's a little plunger on there. Sorry, that's the needle valve I was talking to you about. You can see that goes up into the carburetor with a little plunger on the bottom, and it's just got a little spring-loaded ball in the end of that. That's the main jet I was talking to you about, so obviously we're going to unscrew that and make sure that's clear. It just takes a bit of a flathead on that, so we'll keep one of those out. There we go, that's loosened off quite nicely. Can't see too much daylight through that main jet, so I'll just give that a blow through, or maybe put a small piece of wire through it in a second, just to clean it out. But as I say, that's the main jet, that's what feeds the carb under. When your throttle is open, you have a separate idle jet, which is more than likely built into the carb separately on this engine. But yeah, as I said earlier, plenty of sludge inside that bowl there. Going to give that a good clean up, and then when you join us back again, the carb will be rebuilt, ready to go back on. So we've had the carb apart, given it a clean up. You can see inside the bowl now, there's a...
Now you can.
Now you can. Caught George on the camera there.
Yeah.
Nice and quick, love that. Yeah, inside the bowl now, there's no grit or grime in there. That's what you want. It's much the same in the carb body. We've got rid of most of the grit and the dirt in there, so nothing's going to get sucked through to the engine. I haven't cleaned out the jet yet, George.
Oh.
So we need to do that. Yeah.
Do that now?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool, so yeah, we've cleaned out the jet. We've literally just used a piece of wire from a wire brush, and you can see you've got daylight through there now. That's what you want. So we'll put that back into its hole. Give it a bit of a tighten up. Got what the float valve sits in. It's just like a little plug which inserts into the bottom of the carb. Just give that a little bit of a clean off before that goes back in. Don't lose it, that always does help.
Mad skills.
Live TV here. That's what we should have done. We should have done it live.
Yeah. Need another phone then. Need another phone. I was over the other phone.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one upstairs.
Yes, and that's supposed to be a hole. Right? So this little brass insert is what the float valve sits in. We'll push that home back into place. That sits in there like that. And then it's got a little C-clamp which fits around the end of it just there. And that is then held in by a tiny little screw. Just nip that down, blow away any grip, then we'll put the float back in. As you can see, the needle valve just goes back into its hole and the float sits there, and we'll stick the pin for the float back in. Eventually. There it is. And that's not fastened in, it just sits in that recess, and when the float bowl is back on, that will stop that pin from coming out because of the design of it. And speaking of which, now ready to put that back in. So that goes back on there like that, and then we've just got the 4 screws to put in, and then she's pretty much rebuilt. Just need to put it back on the bike, connect up all the pipes, and see where we go from there. So hopefully the next video we will see us with the engine about to run. Awesome.
So as you see, Lee just rebuilt the carb.
Hello. And then obviously we've now got a clean carb.
Yeah, and we need a battery.
Yes, we need a battery as well. So
a few things at the moment, but hopefully we can get it so it starts.
Yeah, hopefully next video we get her ready for running, get all the tank cleaned out, and away we go.
Fingers crossed. Don't forget,
like, subscribe,
push the little bell thing.
and on that toadstool.
We'll see you next time.